How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and if this is your first time here, I appreciate you checking this channel out. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing Molle versus zip-on back panels, listing their pros and cons, giving my personal preference, and hopefully kind of narrowing down which one will work best for your setup and your use case. So without further ado, let's begin. The two panels I'm using as example are the Excellent Elite Spanker Hydration Panel and the Emerson Gear Zip-On Panel, which is a replica of the Cry Zip-On Panel 1.0. The reason why I chose these two is they're the most similar ones I got. They both got one big pocket with a smaller pocket and a hydration sleeve, so they're pretty similar in what they can do. And as a rough estimate of size for these two, they could both hold a dry uniform, your tops, bottoms, and a couple pairs of socks. So that's just a rough estimate on the size. So now I'll tell you the pros and cons of a Molle back panel. The pros, it's probably going to be a little bit more sturdy than a zip-on panel because you have this huge stretch of Molle running down the back of your plate carrier. So it's probably going to be mounted a little bit more sturdy than this because sometimes these zippers can kind of start working their way undone. They've never fully unzipped on mine, but it can happen if this gets snagged or something. The second pro is modularity. A lot of the time on these Molle panels, they're going to have some exposed Molle. You do see some zip-on panels that are just full Molle, so you could have a setup that could quickly change. However, most of the time they're kind of set just like this, where you're stuck with what it has. Whereas most of the time, your Molle panels will have some exposed Molle that give you some modularity. Like in this case, I could throw a couple flashbang pouches on here, some magazine pouches, another general purpose pouch, whatever it may be, just gives me a little bit of modularity on the surface of the panel. And the final and big pro of a Molle panel is they're universal, because most plate carriers have Molle down the back. If it doesn't have Molle, it won't work, but most plate carriers will be able to use this panel. So I'm not narrowed down to a specific brand I could throw this on. I could throw this on this AR500 Testudo plate carrier. I could throw it on this Cry JPC if I took the back panel off, right? So if my plate carrier has Molle on the back, I could throw this on it no matter what brand it is, what size it is. That is the big pro with your Molle panels, is they are universal across all brands that have Molle on the back. Moving into the zip-on panels, your pros are that it is attached via zippers, so it's very fast to switch between setups. This is going to take a long time to take on and off. That's really the main pro with it, or con with this, is it's slow to switch and take off your plate carriers. Whereas this is really fast. I could switch setups on my JPC here from this kind of flashbang back panel to this one in like 3 minutes, maybe less, really quick. All I have to do is unzip, unbutton, and then zip on and button. Super fast, super easy, super clean. And it's just a really nice feature to have if you have multiple setups for your plate carrier. If you're doing multiple things, for example, that one with flashbangs, but maybe I need to pack some more general purpose stuff, some clothes, I can throw this on there and I have a huge pocket. Another pro is that you could run radios underneath zip-on panels. And what I mean by that is I could throw a radio underneath this, and then just when I need to access it, I could unzip the panel and go in and configure that radio, which is a very nice setup to do. You'd have to run a KDU in that scenario, but that also means your radio is not taking up any cummerbund space and you don't even notice it. So that's another pro with these. Another one is they will generally fit your plate carrier better. The zippers tend to help fit it to the sides of the plate carrier, and they are designed to fit the plate carrier with the zippers, because this is a Cry zip-on panel. It's going to fit a Cry plate carrier, and it's designed to work well with your Cry plate carriers. Whereas with this, it's going to most likely have a lot of hang-off, which on your smaller plate carriers, that may be a big problem. On your larger plate carriers, this may just sit perfect on them. So that's a pro with this. And another kind of, not necessarily a pro, but something you can do. So for example, with this AR500 plate carrier, if I wanted to run this panel on here, I could buy zipper adapters. Cry makes Molle to zipper adapters for their JPC 1.0. However, you could put them on any plate carrier with Molle, thread it through here. That gives me a zipper capability, and I could throw this on there. So that is also an option if you really want zip-on panels, is you can buy one of those adapters. Now for the cons with a zip-on panel is they are generally more expensive than your Molle panels. The Cry ones, the 2.0 Cries, are up in the $300 range, and a lot of the time your Molle ones are cheaper. Really main brand Molle back panel I can think of is the Haley flat pack, which is still expensive, but it's nowhere near as expensive as your Cry zip-on panels. However, there is the replica market like this one here. And the main con with these is they're brand specific. If you don't have a zipper adapter, you're kind of stuck throwing this on a Cry plate carrier. Or if you've got a Spiritus back panel, you're stuck putting that on your 119. Stuff like that. Is I can't throw this onto my Faro Concepts plate carrier, right? I'm stuck with it on a Cry because all their zipper sizes are different. So that's the main con, is if you have multiple plate carriers, or say you have a JPC 2.0, but you go out and buy a 119, you won't be able to transfer this to that plate carrier because everybody's zippers are unique. So that's the main con, is you're narrowed down to a specific brand. But that about kind of covers the pros and cons of both of these. Now I'll give you my personal preference. If you couldn't tell, my personal preference is zip-on panels. I have these two, which allows me to switch between them differently. I like being able to have multiple setups that I can quickly change within a matter of minutes. I'm a huge fan of that. Also, I only ever use really this JPC. I don't have any other plate carriers, and I love this thing. So the brand specific issue isn't really a problem for me, just because I don't have like a Spiritus plate carrier or anything, so I don't have to worry about my back panels not working. So that's my personal preference. Now, for kind of a general overview. Most of the time, if you have the option, I'd recommend going with zip-on panels. They give you a lot more capability in being able to switch out setups fastly, and just having a lot more kind of that modularity and not being narrowed down to one specific setup. However, if you are using multiple plate carriers, or you don't want to use zipper adapters, go ahead and do the Molle panels, right? They both work great. It's just in my experience, I really prefer zip-on back panels, okay? So that's kind of the conclusion. I hope this helped kind of narrow down which one would work best for you. I know this kind of sounded like a push towards these. However, this is definitely a great option if it fits your use cases better. So hope you all enjoyed. Before I go, I want to thank my most recent public subscriber, who is Anonymous Citizen. I appreciate you for subscribing. I appreciate everybody for watching this video. And as always, hope you all enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day.